Yeah, what's going on, Rap Therapy? Woo! I don't know what you were doing this morning, but you're going to be doing a whole lot more starting right now. Boom. Been working on this track this morning. I don't know, you want to be a rapper, you better start rapping every day because somebody else is rapping every day. Writing a verse, dropping a verse, performing a verse, doing something verse-wise. They're looking for beats, hunting for beats, playing with beats, doing everything that they can rap-wise. So if you're going to be a rapper, you want to be a rapper, I don't know why you want to do that, but you do. So you better start getting competitive even with yourself or with other people. And you better be able to perform on a dime, on a spot, in a moment, wherever it is. You can't just get up in the morning one day and decide that you're going to be the best rapper that there ever was, because it's not going to happen. It can't happen. It won't happen. You might have talent, but skill will beat talent over time. Effort, every time, every day, all the time. Make a decision. Be the best. Do what you got to do. I don't care what it is. All right. Yeah. Even if you're not the best, you got to pretend to be. Ha. It's been a big morning. Rap Therapy. I'm loving it. Boom. There we go. We got this. We can get through this. It's time to make America better than anything we ever seen in the past. What are we thinking about? Bringing about a better way to be a nation of people. Thinking about a better way to be better. Put in the work to make a pass every day. Start off with nothing and do the max every day. Looking to be the best up in a passionate way. And thinking about a way that we can make it better today. I don't play around. You better get out of my way. You don't want to make a sound if I'm hungry today. I beat a deep bait down till it's out of my way. Get a rebate now if you don't want to pay. What are you bringing to the battle for life? Too many people we've been living with, battle for life. In a poverty state, never shut off the lights. We're breaking citizen down till you're ready to fight. Boom. Just woke up and decided I'm going to put a verse out today on how to be a rapper story from Rap Therapy. Be aggressive, be passionate, be focused, be ready, be confident, be bold. Do things that scare you a little bit every day. All of this, all of that, everything. I just feel in a special kind of mood today. And I feel like I can be successful and on the spot and spontaneous. So I'm bringing that to everybody out there. Take my energy, bring it into your day, do whatever you gotta do. Boom. Empowerment from Rap Therapy. Big idea, big moment, big reason to live, big reason to be. Take that empowerment idea, listen to this verse, get out of your depression, go do something, think a positive thought, understand positive psychology. Don't let the shut down part of your brain continue to exist. Activate it, override it, do something with it. Stop letting the future or the past override your moment right now, because your moment right now is your chance to decide to do something that puts you on a path to make you be in a better place than you ever thought you could ever be. Boom. I really was feeling that beat. So what was I going to talk to you guys even about today? I don't even remember. Maybe I do. So I dropped a free verse showing everybody how you put all that together, all the writing I talked about before, how to get into the studio, how to be confident on the microphone, how to present and perform. You're performing no matter where it is. I'm not on a stage right now. I'm in the studio. I'm hanging out. I'm thinking about Rap Therapy. I'm not thinking about rap music, but I'm still ready to perform. I'm still ready to deliver. I'm still ready to do what I do. And that's the important part of it, because what's the point of rap if you're not going to perform it and share it and do it and be it? And for me, that's what it's all about. That's where I want to see people at. If you're going to be a rap artist, you better at least find a reason to do it. And that's something that I want to talk about in later episodes. But for today, I just wanted to talk about that right now because that's how I feel. That's what I felt like was important after days and days of giving this story of rap therapy messages. I realized that I was missing that big piece that I wanted to share and bring to life and focus on for a day. So I gave you that free verse. Big news, start right here, cut, restart, redo, begin right here because I want videos to put into tracks. I want to write tracks. I want to flesh them out. I want to make them into storyboards. I want to take ideas and make a video out of them. I'm not satisfied on YouTube to just have a picture sitting there and all you see is just this picture and it doesn't do anything and the rap track is going and that's how it exists. I want to have video underlaid in there. I want to bring your message to life. I want to bring your story to life. I want to bring your environment into what we're doing here at Rap Therapy. And I want to connect Rap Therapy with as many places in the world around me as I can and connect with as many people as possible and continue to bring mental health to the forefront of the entertainment industry and continue to grow and build a message. So you've been recorded for a little while. You weren't a star on day one. You didn't step into the booth for the first time and discover, oh my God, I'm Taylor Swift or I'm Nicki Minaj or I dropped it like T.I. or all the new people, MGK, Logic, Joyner, all those people. You didn't step in the booth and you definitely didn't step in the booth and beat Joyner, who to me is just cutting edge right now. He took the rap flag, picked it up and said, I'll carry it for a little while. And so shout out to him anyway. But you're not a star. It's day one, you're not a star. Okay, so what do you got to do? You got to learn how your voice interacts with microphones. You got to understand mic placement. That if you put it a little low, it's a little bassier. If you put it a little high, you get a little more nasal, higher tones in there. You got to understand. You got to keep your proper distance from the microphone. You got to understand that if you're gonna get loud all of a sudden, that you can back away or you can turn to the side. You can either turn all the way around if you're trying to yell or do anything like that. You got to understand how it plays. You got to understand that you need a pop filter on there because of what's called plosives. When you say any P sound, that air's shooting straight out. S's, that's a very harsh sound as well. So in post-production, S's are a very difficult thing to work with, no matter what genre that you feel like you're a part of. Singing, rap, country, any of it. The S's, the plosives, all of that stuff has to go through the microphone and get filtered out. So you need a pop filter. You need a sound screen. You need to understand what the impact on those elements inside the microphone are when you deliver your words and your speech and your work. So once you figure out your placement, what's good for you, what's comfortable, it works the same for instruments. Any instruments that you're miking up, there's different compressions or ratios that come out air-wise. A drum pushes a lot of compression through it. You can bust out the wrong microphones and destroy them real quick. Guitars, you don't just put the microphone on the strings. There's resonance. Guitars are designed a certain way to project the sound so that the audience can hear it. Put the microphone where the audience should be. That's a good thought to have. It's not perfect, but it's a starting notion that you're not just going to cram a microphone up against the strings of a guitar. So now that you learned a little bit about microphones and you thought through it, you understand it better. Let me tell you the story about my first setup was destructively weak. I had one of those first microphones that you hooked up to the computer that into the back, into the regular sound card. It didn't even have, it was a little 1/8-inch jack that goes in there. And the microphone had like 4 little slits on it that was supposed to accept sound. And I had to cut up egg crate. I had an egg crate on my bed, so I cut pieces of that. I taped it over the microphone to start to reduce some of those plosives and some of the harshness because there wasn't a condenser inside of that microphone. So whatever harshness my voice carried into it went into that microphone. And my first digital audio production was miserable. It was terrible. Computers sucked. They were horrible. Any of you getting started, you can't even buy a computer as bad as what I started with. But to be honest, even before that, really my first setup was there was an old stereo record player with tape cassette in it, and it happened to have a line in the front. It had a headphone jack and a line in. I didn't have a microphone at the time, so I took the headphones and I plugged it in because I read that if a device can send an audio signal, it can receive one. So I plugged the headphones into the 8-inch little tiny line-in jack in a 1982 stereo cassette record player. I put a record in the top that had an instrumental on it. I put a tape cassette in the bottom, and I pushed the 2 buttons to record, and I wrapped into the headphone. I wrapped into it like this. That was how I wrapped into and it wasn't even, great headphones. It was cheapos, Sony, like Walkman style headphones. And that was my first recording. And I think I still have that particular one. It was like a Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory recording. Yeah. Yep. About golden tickets. And I made a gold ticket to put inside the cassette tape cover so that, like I've hidden golden tickets inside my tapes and CDs. Concept, and I went with it. It was great. I loved it, and that was fun. And it took my ideas from paper and it put them on a microphone, and the rest is rap therapy and how we got to here. A lot of energy today, a lot of cool down before my day starts today. I have no idea why folks want to be a rapper, but for some reason they do. It all seems legit when you start out, but the journey is much different than you think, and there's a whole bunch of curtains to pull back and talk about in the journey of rap therapy and making our way as an independent entity into the industry, into an industry that has a lot of curtains. And we'll talk about more of that stuff